You have found Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggle stories and triumphant successes of business owners across the land. Past episodes of the Authentic Business Adventures program can be found on the podcast link at drawincustomers.com. We are coming to you from the Sun Prairie Community Radio Studios, underwritten by Bank of Sun Prairie. My name is James Kademan, entrepreneur, author, speaker, and helpful coach to small business owners across the country. Today, we're welcoming / preparing to learn from Chad Eschler, the business development specialist at Findorff Construction. Chad, how you doing?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being on the show. I'm excited, man, because we've known each other for, it feels like, a couple decades. I don't know, a long time.
It's been a while, yeah, from Big Brothers, Big Sisters to now our kids hanging out.
Yep. And I think even networking before that, right? I knew you back when I had Doc Jams forever ago.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I forgot about that.
So you've been with Findorff forever, it sounds like.
Yeah, like 13 years.
I'll call that forever.
Okay.
That's a long time.
Close enough.
That's a long time.
In this day and age, that is forever, right?
Oh, my gosh.
With a company, right?
Dude, I got some resumes. It is not rare to get a resume where people put jobs that they've been on for a week.
Come on.
They've been at the job for a week and they put on their resume and put a laundry list of like 20 things that they did there.
And they just started there, and now they're looking.
That's amongst the other jobs that they've held for a month or 3. Like a week, they're like, relatively speaking, that's pretty long for me. So, so 13 years, you're cool. That's forever.
Okay, all right.
On the verge of owning the place, I would say.
That's a legacy job. Then.
Yeah.
All right.
Crazy. So, what do you do there?
Well, my title's business development, so I mean, basically I do sales there, right?
Okay,
so
yeah.
I'm out on the street trying to find people that want to build things.
Sure.
So it's everything from a small piece of sidewalk to a great big new building.
You guys are doing tiny stuff too.
Oh yeah,
I didn't know that.
So that's what I always get when I talk about this. So actually, my career at Findorff. So I started in our yard operation. So it's sending equipment out to job sites and materials, and then they had an opening in the small projects division. Yeah. And I had a sales background. Sure. And so they're like, we started this thing, but we really don't know how to go out and sell it. So you have a sales background, why don't you try it? We'll teach you construction and go from there. So Findorff has this small projects division that focuses on projects of all sizes.
Nice.
So it's pretty cool. I mean, you get to see a little bit of everything. Get
to
see
I bet.
A lot of different companies. So it's been that was a fun industry to work in, just because you do get to meet so many people, and you get to that's kind of how I started my sales career in construction, was just getting to meet all those people, all the different architects, all the different building owners, subcontractors. It was a lot of fun.
Nice.
So I think this year we're gonna do roughly 350 projects, small projects.
Whoa.
Yeah, with I think they have an average size of like $67,000. So
all right.
People don't know Findorff does that, but that's what makes this fun today.
It's so funny. 67,000 is a small project.
Yeah.
Because for me, that's almost a house, or at least a good chunk of a house, right?
Yeah.
But I suppose in the commercial world, I was looking at buying a building, and the building needed a parking lot because the parking lot was all beat up.
Yep.
And we got a quote for it. It was $60,000. And I'm
go.
like, the building was $200,000, and you're thinking like, well, that price tag went up.
So did you buy it?
No, I don't. I'm sure somebody did, but that $60,000 was a big nut. When commercial properties just that's a little outside my realm right now. From I don't know, you got a lot of stuff going on.
So you don't own the building you're in now?
No, we don't. I owned one when I had Doc Jams. I owned the building there. Yep. And I sold that, and I lost $18,000. So that's a little tickle that I wanted to.
You didn't
be pretty careful.
That?
No. It was so interesting though. The guy that ended up buying that building, it was cash offer. And I've never had a transaction go that simple in real estate. It was like going to Walmart and buying a hot dog.
Really?
Like it was so, like there were no contingencies. It was cash offer. So it was pretty much, here's a check. And it went into my hands and then back to the bank. It was very.
And you had to write another check.
Yeah. It was kind of cool. Well, I guess I had made enough payments where I wasn't upside down.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but the payments that I made, I didn't make any money. So maybe if I would have held on to it, but you're paying rent on an empty building, so I don't want to do that.
I don't blame you there.
Pass. So what did you do before you were with Findorff then?
So I work for United Rentals. They
renting cranes and lift trucks and all that.
Rent scissor lifts, boom lifts, all that kind of stuff. So So that was kind of my entry into sales.
All right.
And that was a full commission position.
No base?
No. Well, very small base.
Okay.
I mean,
here's your 50 cents an hour.
Basically,
Go to work.
right?
All right.
But yeah, so I mean, it was sink or swim, right?
Yeah.
So here you go. If you want to eat this month, you better be out there selling.
Wow.
So,
how long were you with them?
about 5 years.
Okay, so still decent time.
So I built up a really good book of business, and it was a great job, great career. I just wanted a little change in life. I was busy out having fun with customers every night, and
sure.
Findorff actually approached me about that yard position,
yeah.
And so I was ready for it. Like I said, I wanted a change in life, wanted to settle down,
sure,
meet someone,
right.
Have a family, all that good stuff.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so you're a single dude back then.
I was.
Okay,
yep.
So that's why you're heading out at night. Just...
Yep, just having fun and living life, right?
All right, drinking the beer and all that jazz with the customers.
I was like, I was getting close to 30 at the time, and
sure.
I'm like, all right, it's time to do something different.
So. Dial it back.
Yeah.
So the Findorff people know you from working at United Rentals?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that actually helped me when I joined Findorff, because
sure.
I had a good base of people that knew me and
right.
knew how I operated and how I did work. So
sure.
So that actually helped quite a bit.
There's a foundation of trust there.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice. All right.
For sure.
And what were you doing before United Rentals?
Oh, I was at Henshu Construction.
Henshu, what is that?
Yeah, they did sewer and water work.
Oh, all right.
So
They still around?
They are not.
Okay.
So that's why I left.
Sorry about your paycheck. Yeah. We're bankrupt. All right.
So, but it was a great experience for me.
Yeah.
Kind of made me who I am today, right?
All right.
Where I kind of focus on, just always doing my best and how I operate financially at home. Kind of
sure.
always have that back in the back of my head where
right.
I went in one day and I didn't have a job. So
really,
yeah,
they just all of a sudden one day, no warning.
Yeah, well, I took 2 weeks vacation and came back, and they told me you're done.
Funny story. How big of a company was this?
I don't know. They probably had 150 employees.
You're kidding?
Yeah.
And they just all of them on the street one day.
Not all at once.
Okay.
They. A lot of the family members still worked and were trying to work through it. But yeah.
Didn't work.
No.
Wow.
Unfortunately.
How long were you with them?
About 4 years.
Holy cow.
So I actually worked there during the summers in college. I was a laborer. So
sure.
I was
digging ditches.
And
Sure.
Yeah. It was I don't think you can do it nowadays, but because I had that job, I was able to get out of college with no debt.
Oh, nice.
So
super awesome.
Yeah, so that was that kind of set me up for the rest of my career.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah, so anyone out there, I'd highly recommend trying to get into the trades at some point in your career.
There's money to be made.
There is.
Especially now. I don't know. You can probably talk about this more, but whether it will maintain. I was talking to a guy that's got an HVAC company. He's paying technicians $100K a year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, installing furnaces, people are making six figures.
Right.
I don't know how long you have to go to school for that, 6 months or a year or something like that, maybe.
Yeah, there's usually an apprenticeship that goes along with it.
Yeah.
But within 3 years, you're making six figures.
I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah. Could you imagine? Just coming out of high school, doing an apprenticeship, and then making six figures with not having that college debt.
Yeah, right. I just interviewed a guy. I shouldn't say just. It was probably a month ago. We just interviewed a guy for an employee at Calls on Call, right?
Yep.
Answering phones. And he had a 4-year degree just out of college. And I'm thinking, you're super cool. You're super smart. But there's no way for what we pay you can pay off your loans.
Right.
I would love to say that you could, but school's too expensive for a 4-year degree person to come work for us.
Yeah.
Tech college, sure.
Yeah.
But when you got $100,000, $120,000 in college debt, you're going to pay that off at $13-14 an hour?
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. Even right now, probably our some of our demographics are, for the field side, are these, late to mid 20s that tried their career and didn't like it and end up coming into the trades.
Sure.
Where, they can make a decent living and, put in their 8 hours and go home.
Right.
So it's been interesting to see that transition.
Oh, I bet.
Well, when you can offer a $100,000 salary in 3 years, that's attractive.
That is super attractive. Yeah. So have you seen, I don't know if you're in on the numbers or not, but have you seen the pay like increase over the past few years? I guess what a typical laborer would make?
Yeah, I mean, construction's got to stay competitive, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, construction's always been a good industry to be in.
Has it? Okay.
From a salary standpoint or a compensation standpoint. I mean, my dad was a operating engineer, and so I mean, he did that for 58 years. Ran cranes, ran backhoes, did different things, and he it ended up being a great career. Plus, he had a pension at the end.
Nice.
So I mean,
you don't hear about those too often.
No, and he's doing really well. So.
I just heard about one this afternoon from someone else. I was like, you got a pension? They still have those? What in the world? That's crazy cool.
Yeah, no, it was funny because my dad told me, you're going to college. I can't help you pay for it.
Sure.
But I don't want you to get in construction. And here I am.
Here you are. You're 3 jobs into construction there.
Right. Well, the even funnier part is, so when I took the job at Findorff, my dad, he never has said one thing about my career. And he's like, what are you doing? He's like, you got it made. You got a company expense account. You got a company truck. Like, why are you switching to Findorff?
Yeah.
And it was pretty neat. Probably couple years ago now. He's like, I get it now.
11 years after you're in
He
there.
remembered saying that, and he said, you made the right move.
Sure.
So, but yeah.
Nice. So why did you make the move? Was it just a change of pace, a different pay, different hours?
Yeah. I actually took
a base?
Yeah, well, I actually took a pay cut to go to
Findorff. You did?
Yeah, it was a pretty significant pay cut.
Okay.
But again, like I said earlier, I just wanted a change in pace. I wanted to start a family, try and meet somebody. And it was kind of funny how it worked out. I mean, I started at Findorff in May. I met my wife in August.
At Findorff?
Well, not at Findorff, but I don't think we would have met had I been doing my other job.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it all worked out.
I guess so. That's interesting.
Didn't expect it to happen that fast.
Sure.
Yeah.
Chalk it up to experience.
I knew it was going to happen.
Interesting. I just listened to Aziz Ansari's book called Modern Romance.
Okay.
Talking about how people met, years ago into now today with online dating and stuff like that.
I'm glad I don't have to do that.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting.
Do you feel that way too, or what?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never tried it. Right. I've been married for 19 years. So online wasn't even a thing, let alone online dating. Or I guess it was barely a thing when we were there were chat rooms, right?
Right.
You had no idea who you were talking to, and you had to dial up with a modem, right? So just connecting to the internet was an event. You didn't just open your phone, right?
Yep.
So it was just a different world back then, right?
Yeah.
And so it was Aziz got together with some psychologist, and they did a bunch of studies, and they went to nursing homes and stuff like this and figured out how people met, and they just went decade by decade and kind of figured out that people back in the olden days, right? Let's call it 20 plus years and older, you had the kind of circle around where you work or live, and it's someone within that circle is who you're going to end up with.
Yeah.
Right? Let's call it a 4-block radius or something like that.
That's small.
It's crazy small. Crazy small. It was smaller than I anticipated because I thought, maybe people meet at a grocery store, a bar, or something like that.
Right.
But generally speaking, the people kind of hung out in their little thing, and they ran into each other in the hallways at their apartment complexes and whatever. And that's the circle that they saw, right? Or it was work. So within that range. And now with online dating, people are meeting, across the country or way across 4 blocks, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just people are getting married later if they get married at all.
Right.
Like everything's pushing. And they were talking about people are interested in more finding the perfect soulmate, right? Air quotes there. Where before people were just like, I want to get out of the house. And in order for me to afford getting out of the house, I need a partner. And you're good enough. You'll do. Right?
Could you imagine? Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
It's different, right?
Yeah. It's a different dynamic. So it's interesting that you say that you met Michelle, right?
Yep.
And where did you guys meet?
At a bar.
At a bar. Nice.
Well, actually, we knew each other from the Pro Athletic Club, so
okay, sure.
mile from my house.
Sure.
But,
but there we go.
There you go. We met out at a bar one night.
So you guys were together how long? 11, 13 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
13 years we've been together, married 11.
Okay, so online dating back then, online dating was a thing? Or it's probably a new thing?
Yeah, she tried it a few times. I never did. It just wasn't my thing.
It seems so weird.
Yeah, doesn't it? I mean, it's changed a lot.
You're shopping for a date the same way that you shop for light bulbs on Amazon.
Okay, so, now that we're on this topic. So what if you could do employment that way? We were talking about trying to get employees.
Love it. Totally would.
Right?
Totally would. 1,000 times over. 1,000 times over.
I mean, what if LinkedIn had that application where you can just kind of scroll through people?
Yes.
Do you think?
Yes. Totally worth it. Totally worth it. Right now, and I say that because I just had someone quit on me Sunday night.
Oh, man.
Right? They knew they were going to quit a few days before, but they didn't let me know until Sunday night because that's how people roll sometimes with no work ethic. And she was with us a week, right?
Yep. Well, that's long. Like we were saying earlier, that's a long time for some people. So.
Oh, my God. I think of all the people that we've gone through, and this is, I'll take partial blame for this, right? Because I'm probably a hard person to work for because I demand things like you show up and you do your job, or at least attempt to do your job. And for a lot of people, those are two very high bars.
Yeah.
I didn't know that would be a high bar, but that's the world we live in. I imagine you guys dealing in construction, we got clients that I'm not saying anything new to them, right? They're just like, yeah. I even reach out to people saying, hey, we'll bring you more business, right? If you answer your phone. And they're like, we don't answer our phone now because we can't find employees to actually do the work.
No kidding.
Common.
Wow.
Extreme. To a fault. Yeah, I would dare to say that almost every single business owner that I've talked to in the past year and a half, that's been their story.
Wow.
Easily. Which is an interesting story when you compare it to 2008, 2009.
Right, yeah.
Which
wasn't that long ago.
No. We don't have any money. We just laid off 5 dudes, right? We can't afford to have a phone, let alone have someone answer the phone, right? So it's interesting, that was a switch, like a 180-degree shift in a week or something like that. There was no in between.
So did you start your business
8 years ago?
Okay.
Yeah.
So
we're in 2011.
Just coming out of the recession?
Yep. Yeah. So but for the construction industry, I was part of NARI for a while.
Yep.
The National Association of Remodelers, whatever that is. And I got out of there because there were still people that were complaining about the economy. Like we're talking, I think I got out of there 2-3 years ago. And I'm like, we're going pretty good now.
Yeah.
Like if you're still blaming the economy now, it's not the economy, it's totally you. And operationally, a lot of them just didn't pay attention to the numbers, so they wouldn't even know if things are going good or bad. There's no clue, which is sometimes common for some people I run into.
That just blows my mind. I mean, we were talking about this a little bit
before.
I mean, that's the number one thing in a business,
super common.
Right?
Super common.
But
because I have coaching, right? And I offer a package where we base the coaching, what they pay me, based on the percentage of growth, but we have to figure out a baseline. And they don't know. Wow. Like they don't have QuickBooks set up. They don't know that checks come in, checks go out. And there's no checks and balances, kind of, so to speak. They don't reconcile anything. So I asked the one guy, I'm like, how do you do your taxes? And he's like, I don't know. My accountant does them. I'm like, well, how does your accountant do them? It's not magical.
Right.
That's pretty black and white with the numbers, but it's very common for business owners to they're good at what they do, right? Painting, plumbing, massage, whatever it is that they're good at. And they just don't pay attention to the numbers, or maybe they get started paying attention to the numbers and then they kind of forget, or just it's not important to them, or they're like, hey, I'll get to that when I'm not busy. And you're always busy when you own your own business, right? You're always doing something.
Yeah.
Or in sales or something like that. You're never like, I'm all done.
Right.
I've contacted everybody in the world, right? I saw the entire internet. We're all good. It's just, you're never done.
Yeah.
So if you don't make the time for it, it just doesn't happen.
Right.
And so it's pretty tough to be like, let's base it on a percentage of increase. Where do we start?
When you have no...
Yeah, okay, well, let's figure out that first. So, even if you're making money, right?
So do you get paid to do that then? Help them figure out if they're making money?
If they can agree to a baseline of just, let's set up a few meetings just to get your books in order.
Right.
And if they say no to that, I don't give them 2 years.
Yeah.
They'll fold.
Yep.
Because either they won't make any money and they won't know it, or they'll get audited and they won't be able to afford what the IRS says that they owe. Right? Like, you got to know your numbers. That's a huge deal.
Yeah.
So that's, I imagine you run into that with sales and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, usually people have a pretty good plan when we get involved.
Okay.
It isn't real typical. I mean, we do work with some startups.
Sure.
It's kind of funny. For example, Exact Science.
Sure.
The first project we did with them was a $30,000 remodel.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and
they're doing a little bigger projects now.
Yeah, they're doing a little bit bigger stuff now. But some of those small startup companies can grow into big companies
pretty quick.
Yeah, especially in that life science industry.
Oh, yeah.
We're doing a lot of work in right
the
now.
Biotech stuff and all that jazz. Yeah, it's like 20 fail, but the one that takes off is all of a sudden taking up half the belt line.
Right? Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's interesting. How do you push, I guess, Findorff, when you're talking about some of these projects are millions of dollars, I imagine, right?
Yep.
Like, they're not tiny pennies.
Right.
So how do you, I don't know, schmooze or sell?
Well, it's just a lot of donuts. You drop off a lot of donuts at people, and that's
nice.
And then you get work. No, actually, there was one point in my career where I wanted to write a book called "Don't Forget the Donuts." Because there's that little piece of sales that makes a big difference.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely.
And that's, I mean, honestly, my United Rentals days when I was selling equipment, that was key to winning people over. I mean, you go to the job sites, you drop off some donuts. I mean,
you show up with food,
yeah. It costs you like $5, but I mean, I think that pertains to every industry. I mean,
that's fair.
You can't forget those little things, and that's what keeps you top of mind to people.
That's fair.
But now it's a little different now with social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever it might be. I mean, you stay top of mind with people, but I still think there's a spot for the donuts to drop off.
It's interesting. I was having a conversation. I don't even remember who it was with. It was last week when we were talking about essentially the social media aspect, right, and the interaction there, and then talking on the phone. And then the difference that happens when you actually talk with someone in person, that's a whole new world.
Yeah.
Right? And you can actually get a lot of stuff done.
Right.
And maybe it's because in social media or when you're chatting or texting or something like that, they can kind of hide.
Right.
They can ghost you, which I didn't even know was a thing until recently.
Come on, really?
I didn't know. The first time that I was talking with my little brother. We were texting back and forth, right? Because he's not good on the phone at all. We were texting back and forth, and all of a sudden it was crickets. There was no goodbye, see you later, I gotta run. There's none of that. And I don't normally have text conversations because I hate them.
Right.
Because this is like, can you please interrupt me for my entire day? Like, no, just give me a 2-minute phone call. We'll be done with her. Just move on, right? But he wants his text conversations. We text, blah, 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 and then nothing. And I had asked him a question because I'm always asking a question, right?
Right.
And nothing. So I'm like, did your phone die? Right? I don't know
Are
if
you
remember.
hurt? Like,
the commercials where the phone goes dead, right? And like, wait, are you breaking up with me? Like, all this stuff went through my head. Yep. And so the next time that we connected in person, I asked him, so tell me about the story. How am I supposed to end a text? And he told me, you just don't reply. And I thought, what? That seems like the rudest thing in the world.
So that'd be like talking to someone on the phone and then just hanging up.
Yeah, just hang up. Yeah.
Don't say bye.
No. That's it. I'm like, this is why you guys have a problem.
I didn't know that rule.
No, I don't abide by that rule. Because like that's rude on so many levels. And then I learned, listening to this Aziz Ansari thing, right?
Yeah.
They're talking about people not responding, or they have this whole thing about how soon they're going to respond.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's crazy. That's so weird to me. Maybe I'm too old.
See, everyone needs to be in sales, though, for a minute. Because,
I mean,
that's what makes a sale, right?
Absolutely.
You have to answer your phone.
Communication.
You have to get back to people.
Yeah.
And, I do think that's still missing now. People are afraid to pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Have that conversation. Mm-hmm. So
totally true.
It could go back to what we were talking about with dating. I mean, you don't have to have that first conversation, right? I mean, it's done on your phone.
Right.
So I do think there's opportunities for people to learn that skill. Well, and that's probably where your business is
communication.
Helpful. I mean,
yeah. We do, it's interesting. We take care of phones for the majority of our customers. We have some customers where we're email and chat only.
Okay.
That's the only way. They don't even have a phone number on their website, which to me seems a little weird because there's going to be that emergency or the I'm super upset
Yeah.
and I want to yell at someone, right?
Yeah.
Or
Yep.
just clean the problem up. I don't want to wait on online chat.
Yeah.
Be like, someone is waiting for, an agent is typing. I'm really mad. This will settle them down.
Maybe that helps settle them down. Maybe they just.
Maybe. I think for a couple of our clients, I believe that it may have to do with a financial point of view,
Yep.
right? They don't have to pay for saying, hey, how's it going? Right? Over the phone,
Right.
you have to do some pleasantries. Where on online chat, you really don't.
Yep. There's no filter.
Yeah, you can just be like, what do you want? And is that all? Fill out this survey. And for email, it's kind of the same thing. You can put on the, you rah, how's it going, as part of the email where you're asking whatever.
Right.
So I kind of get that. On the flip side, I think you're losing tone.
Right.
And you're losing, I guess, body language, you lose in phone anyways. But losing tone is a huge deal.
Yeah. 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 Not having that person-to-person
Yeah.
interaction. I mean, you get an email and you're like, oh my gosh, they're so mad. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden
Right, why are you upset? I'm not
why
upset.
are you mad at me? Why did you write in all caps?
Right. I had, it's funny you say that, because I had an employee that we hired, and she never showed up.
Okay.
And I received a text message from her. We hired her on a Friday. She was supposed to start on Monday. I get a text message Sunday night, and it's all lowercase. I think it's about 3 sentences with no punctuation, no commas, no periods. And it's just blah, 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 about why she's not coming in on Monday. And I was like, okay, whatever. See you Tuesday. And then I get another another text, Tuesday saying she's not going to take the job. Which, whatever, life goes on. But same thing, right? All lowercase, no punctuation. And I'm like, we don't want a clown like this working for us anyways, right?
Right.
A week later, so we're talking last week Thursday, I received an email from her, perfect grammar, asking if she can take the job.
What'd you do?
I told her to go pound sand. I said it a little nicer than that. It was
Yeah.
good grammar, but I'm like, no.
You didn't write in all lowercase? No, you didn't.
No, yeah, we have standards. GFY. Yeah, no.
No, but to go back to your original question where we kind of tailed off, but
Yeah.
it's an interesting industry to do sales in
I
because
bet.
it's someone might build a building and then it's 5 years before they build another one.
Oh, sure.
And so I mean, you're constantly touching base with people,
Yeah.
and checking in and seeing how their business is going. And,
Sure.
We also get to get behind the scenes on a lot of businesses too and understand what's making them work. And,
Oh, sure.
And understanding their industry. And, I follow a lot of trends in industries and, occupancy rates in Madison.
Oh,
and,
sure.
There's different things like that where, when someone's space is 98% full.
Right.
They probably are going to
you're
build
about to
something
build.
again.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
But or their business is booming, they're going to have to do something, or they're hiring a bunch of people.
Right.
You just follow that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's got to be a lot of homework.
It is. It's constantly reading.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
I imagine to a point.
Yeah. No, I honestly I love my job.
All right. Well, that's cool. That's super cool.
Yeah, it's fun to interact. It's fun to see not only what's going on with individual businesses, but what's going on in our communities.
Sure. That's very true.
We both live in Sun Prairie, and we've seen the growth here and how that impacts
insane.
things. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, just figuring out, what's going to be the next building, who's going to be the next, the next exact.
Right. Right.
It's fun to try and figure that stuff out.
Yeah.
So you get to play detective during the day too.
That's fair. I was just driving on the new build out with Target and Menards and all that kind of stuff,
yeah.
right? We used to live on Hepker Road, where Hepker Road was it was a field, right?
Right.
With
Yeah.
houses, and then AmFam's little, I don't know, space, whatever. And I was with my dad, and I was like, we used to live on this road. I don't know where it is anymore because there's all these buildings popping up. I'm like, we lived less than half a mile from here, and I couldn't tell which road it was.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Because it had changed so much. Like, it didn't have stoplights back then.
Yeah.
It was just a big open field with one road, and now there's so many roads and cars going every which way. I'm like, I don't know, somewhere around here.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up here.
Yeah,
I grew up
really?
in the forest. And,
Okay.
I mean, I remember, where you were talking about, Hepker Road.
Yeah.
We rode four-wheelers out there.
Oh, nice. Sure.
It's crazy to see how much this area has
Yeah,
changed.
it's quick.
I mean,
It's quick.
It's fun though. I mean, and you asked earlier about, careers in construction and how long is it going to go? With the amount of people retiring now, someone young coming in, you're going to stay busy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good things. I mean, in Madison, it's we have the university, we have the state here, we have the capital here. I mean, there's always going to be something going on here.
It's interesting you say that. I was just talking with a woman earlier this week. She was looking for a job, and she was saying that the jobs that pay really well, we'll just say $70K and up, they have so many applicants for them that it's tough to get. But you're talking the $20 an hour and lower, there's way more jobs than there are people willing to work them or capable of working them, I guess, however you want to say that. That was an interesting dynamic.
Right.
How you have a very smart people that have this standard.
Right.
That are trying to achieve that from a pay point of view, and there's a lot of competition. We're down low. Like, there's people that just say, I don't want the job. Even though I applied for it and I went through all this stuff,
I'm good.
Because they can go across the street anywhere and find a job, right?
Right.
Stand on the corner, hold out a sign, said we'll work for less than $20 an hour. You get a job in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's tough to find. But you stand out on the corner and say, we'll work for $70K a year. You might be out there a little while.
Well, even so right now, Michelle and I are building a house, right?
Yeah.
I've been talking with my builder about, it's interesting being on the other side of a construction project, right?
Sure, the consumer side.
Yeah,
right.
I don't, it gives me a new perspective, right?
Oh, I bet.
But early on, we've seen costs go up. And, he was saying similar to what you're saying was that, labor that used to pay $13 an hour for, Gorilla Movers, who's one of his tenants, they're paying $18 an hour.
You're kidding.
And so
for moving furniture.
And so, he's losing laborers to that. So he obviously has to increase his pay to keep up with Gorilla Movers.
I just feel like we're raising pay and our standards are getting lower for what we'll tolerate. Like, oh my gosh, just lower service, because like customer service now, we notice it when it's really good.
Yeah.
When like that should be the norm, right? We should notice it when it's phenomenal.
Right.
But we're like, oh, that kid asked if there was anything else that we needed, or he talked to us, so we're accepting that as good customer service.
Right.
It's weird. Yet the price for these people is insane.
Yeah, well, you hear about like the Chick-fil-A people saying thank you or have a nice day, whatever. I forget what their saying is, but that makes a big difference.
That's monumental, right? They said thank you. Let's pay him $20 an hour.
Yeah, should that be the norm?
Yes, totally. Yeah. Totally agree. It's challenging, super challenging. So you guys are putting together some schools in town, right?
We are.
All right.
Yeah. So, we had our groundbreaking for Ashley Field on Friday night.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So we'll start, depending or not if there's another game there. We'll start whenever football season's done and start tearing that up and get ready for that'll be ready for next season. And then the new high school starts this spring.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Wow. And those are all your projects?
Correct.
All right.
Yeah.
So then how does that work? Do you guys have to bid, or is that?
For those, there was a competitive process where we, because a lot of this, for construction, we get hired early on, before the referendum even comes out, because they want to make sure that they have the right dollars set aside.
Gotcha. Okay.
So there's a competitive process early on that we go through.
How do you compete if you don't know exactly what they want to build?
Well, it goes on, rates and fees and experience and that kind of stuff. And then there's an interview process. And, the school districts make a selection.
Who are they interviewing?
So they'll interview the project manager, the person putting all the estimates together. We have our superintendent that'll run the project. Okay. Those are the main people involved in the interview.
And what are they looking for in the interview? Are you guys cool? Can we work with you?
Yeah, or I think it depends.
Did you bring donuts?
Right? Yeah, there you go. Speaking of that, there was one time I went in on an interview and someone before us brought a basket of pears. Oh. And they said, we'd like to be a great pear.
Oh, boy. I have an ear of corn because that's corny, right?
Right. But no.
Tough date.
But no, it's a matter of, how they mesh, what your experience is. I think people look at that a lot. And then, especially here, it's what's your involvement in the community? Do you have a bunch of people that live in the community that are going to work on these projects.
Sure.
You know, because they, you know, especially with schools, it's about community.
Sure.
And so,
hugely.
So I do think a lot of it gets based on how active you are in the community. Again, the employee base you have in the community.
Sure.
So it's that. I think that's how they decide.
That's fair.
I mean, we don't get.
You don't see behind the curtain.
No,
there,
we don't
right?
get to see how the decisions are made. But,
all right.
But
so it's not exclusive dollars and cents.
No.
That's what it comes down to.
No,
okay, interesting.
No, and
because you don't even know them at that point.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And, again, a lot of times it comes down to, have you done projects like this in the past? And were they successful? And,
sure.
Similar to a job interview, right? You check references, you do different things. You want to see if they did a good job in the past.
Sure.
And so, fortunately, I work for a company that's been around for 130 years, and we have
a while.
Good reputation. So,
sure.
So we're really excited about this project.
Nice.
From a community standpoint.
Right.
So.
And the high school, let's talk about that, right? That's being built in the spring. How long does a project like that take to complete?
About 24 months.
Okay. So it's a couple of years.
Well, I should say, 18 months.
18 months, a year and a half.
Year and a half.
Okay.
Yep.
That's a long project.
It is. But I mean, when you think about it,
it's a big building.
It's a big building. Yeah.
I always wonder, and this is one of those things when we added onto our garage, I remember wondering, what is the first thing that they're going to do, right? They're going to lay the stake in the ground, and then everything is going to be based on that stake, right?
Yeah.
So you better make sure that's in the right spot.
Right.
Right. For your angles are 90 degrees and all this jazz. It was kind of interesting to see because I imagine a school or a huge building, it's the same way, right?
Right.
You got a big pile of dirt. You got to get the thing all exactly where it's supposed to be level and then start somewhere at some point, right?
Right. Well, and it's interesting how technology is finally playing a role in the construction industry.
Oh,
so,
sure.
I mean, whether it's, GPS, drones,
sure,
robots, we get to work with some pretty cool things that make sure we get it right.
Yeah.
That's the part I really enjoy about the construction industry overall. But
sure.
I also get to play a little bit in that innovation side at Findorff. So,
sure.
So I know you interview a lot of startups, but I mean,
I do. You guys have been around for a while, so that's cool.
No, but we like to look at ourselves as a 130-year-old startup. I mean,
all right.
we're okay trying new things, and
sure.
That's the future.
Right.
And we were talking about talent. That's what's attracting talent is
nice. Okay.
So I mean we have virtual reality, we have augmented reality.
All right.
Again, that we have a full-time drone pilot. I mean,
do you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
So, and then, we work a lot in building information modeling, which is a software so instead of rolling out plans, you have a 3D plan on the computer.
Oh, very cool.
So we build the building before it's even put
up.
All
right.
So, I mean, it's a good way to make sure that, like you were talking, everything's coordinated, everything's figured out,
right.
Everything's in the right spot. Mm-hmm. So before we put a shovel in the ground.
Sure. Interesting.
So, yeah.
I used to do, I was installing alarm systems, like smoke alarm systems and stuff like that. I remember being in a bank. We're installing I think we were doing a security system as well. And we had to time it with like the HVAC people, the plumber people. And I remember we had the plans, we had the blueprints and all this jazz. But for our work, it was more or less just fitted in there somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was thinking, seems like an awfully expensive project to just be like relying on a couple minions that are up there with our little, our spools of wire, just trusting us where to run the cable.
Right. Yeah.
Like we don't know anything about HVAC or something like that, or plumbing, or like we shouldn't put it here or X or Y.
Well, it used to be the first guy on site got to put his stuff wherever.
Right.
Or the first person on site. They just run their stuff and don't worry about anybody else. And now it's a lot more coordinated.
Sure.
Everybody has their specific area that they need to go in.
Yeah.
And what that does is allows for prefabrication.
So you're not having to build on site.
Right. So now a lot of it's built off site. And, earlier we were talking about, labor shortages, that kind of stuff. So that gives us the opportunity to train people in the shop in a safer environment.
Right.
And, make sure things get put together properly.
Right. It's not 20 degrees outside while you're trying to bend all this stuff. Sure.
Yeah.
Or 20 below.
Right. So especially in the mechanical trades, it's been a huge benefit.
I bet that's huge.
Yeah.
I remember we were doing this stuff and the guy was putting up the sprinkler system. I felt so bad for that guy because he's putting up that huge iron pipe, right? There's a huge atrium, I guess.
Yeah.
And so he's alone, and he's got the scissors lift, whatever, but he's putting up these, I don't know, 10, 12 feet iron pipes that are probably 3-4 inches in diameter. He's threading them right there. And I'm running cable and complaining about it.
You're complaining about your shoulder.
Yeah, I got this spool, right? And you're just like, oh, I got to work this cable. And this guy's having to muscle this huge sprinkler pipe.
You didn't go help him? Come on.
I wouldn't even know how. The atrium had this angle, right? It's probably a 30-degree angle pitch roof. Like, I don't even know how you're holding on to that, let alone trying to thread it at that angle.
Right.
Like, I'll tell you if you drop something or send the screwdriver back up. But I felt so bad for that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so bad. But
yeah. So, I mean, nowadays, you don't see that as much, right?
No.
I mean, especially on these bigger projects where things are coordinated and, the pipe shows up already pre-threaded and it's...
that seems smarter.
Yeah, it's just putting it together.
What? We had to thread this thing? Nobody told me.
But there is a device we're using called exoskeleton.
Okay.
So this is think of Iron Man for construction workers.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's a suit that it relieves stress on your joints.
All right.
So
guys are wearing these?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we were one of the first ones in the area to try it out. So it was originally made for manufacturing. So you'd see it at like the auto plants and those types of places. But we tried it here about 3 months ago out on a job site with one of our iron workers. He was doing a lot of welding above head all day. Welding and grinding above head.
Go crazy.
So it was really cool. So there's, it's basically a brace that goes around you.
Okay.
It goes around your back and down your arms, and it just works with springs.
Okay.
But it takes that force that goes onto your shoulders and it just relieves it.
Sure.
So in this guy that was welding for all day, when we had him try it, he said he went home that night and he was up till like 10:30 at night because he just had so much more energy than before.
Sure.
And so we're starting to add them to our personnel across the company.
So it's not motors or hydraulics. It's all just springs.
Just springs. Yeah.
It seems probably fairly affordable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're like $5,000 a piece.
Okay.
But
not the end of the world.
No, but I mean, you have a shoulder injury. You have
that $5,000's eaten up.
Yeah, $5,000's
game
gone.
over. Yeah, nothing.
Yeah.
That's
so
cool.
it's something new we're trying. Again, I mean, that's the fun part about this company. We're always trying new things.
That is cool.
We've used the robot that lays brick. We've had that out at job sites. So it's an autonomous bricklayer. They call it SAM, the semi-autonomous mason.
That's so funny.
So if you ever want to geek out on construction stuff, go Google it one night and it'll show you the bricklaying robot.
That's another funny story, right? I was installing alarm systems. We're at an apartment building. I think it's 3 or 4 story apartment building. I'm on the top floor and I'm running cable and I see this head peek out of the window. And at first I was like, somebody's there. And then I thought, wait a second, I'm on the 3rd, 4th floor, whatever. So I walk over there and it was a guy laying brick and he's on, the scaffolding. And I was like, hey, how's it going? He's like, good. I'm like, how long you been doing this? A couple of years. I'm like, how'd you end up doing this? And he's like, I made some mistakes in life. Like, funny, that's how I ended up here too. Apparently not as many. But I always wondered, like in this day and age when we're sending people to the moon, we're in the process of sending people to Mars, we're still laying brick 6 inches at a time, right?
Yeah, it's like the same way they built the pyramids, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like one
we haven't
brick
come
on
up
top
with
of the
something
other,
better.
Right?
This seems awfully...
I thought the same as you.
Yeah. Awfully expensive, burdensome, like...
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Well, now with the big block too, we just tried this up in Poinet. There's like a lift assist. So you have the great big cinder blocks, the big blocks. So there's an apparatus you can put on site that, so instead of having to lift them by hand, you attach this to it, and then there's like no weight to it.
Oh.
And so you just pick it up and set it down, and then it goes back, and then you hook it onto the next one. And it's it seems simple, but I mean those changes are needed in our industry.
I bet.
So
I bet. One thing I did want to ask you about is communication, because I've had a couple residential construction guys in here.
Okay.
And one of the biggest challenges that they talk about is communication. And most recently, a guy was talking about there's external communication, like between consumer and company, let's call it, right? But he's also talking about the communication challenges between contractor and subcontractors.
Okay.
Where these guys are just, they're the mom and pop shop, maybe 1 to 10 employees, something like that.
Sure.
And they just have no organization. And they have multiple jobs going on, so they're kind of shuffling and juggling. Is commercial contracting similar, or are you guys more organized because they're bigger projects?
We're almost forced to be a little more organized.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, and again, we're trying to use technology to make us all better.
Okay.
And so a lot of times, especially on the big projects, we make our subcontractors use that building information model.
Oh, gotcha. So they have the software.
Well, and if they don't have it in-house, we offer to do it for them.
Okay.
So because early on that was the case. I mean, we've been doing this for quite a while now.
Yeah.
But no one had access to it. And so we were one of the first contractors to implement it.
All right.
And but now it's almost common practice.
Oh, really?
Where everyone's doing it now.
Did you guys scare away any subcontractors with that?
Initially, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, people were very hesitant to adapt.
Yeah. Because some of those people, I call them the flip phone crowd.
Yeah.
Where they're just like, they're scared of technology. They still got their carbon paper and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, and the field staff was hesitant of it too.
Oh.
They're like, what do you mean you can build a building before before we
ain't
have
nobody
our stuff
built a
done?
building before.
Right. Yeah. And so it's it's been a great tool to use. I mean, we still have, the emails and the texts.
Sure.
And, there isn't one best way to communicate.
Sure.
But I think overall we do pretty good. I'm sure some of our subs and owners might say different,
right?
But we're always trying to get better,
crowd,
right?
But in the end, I imagine the jobs that you're giving these people are decent size, so it's in their best interest to make it smooth as silk for everyone.
Yeah,
you guys and the end user, the consumer.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, honestly, with any job, I mean, communication is most important.
Name of the game.
I mean, it's. You got to win that battle in order to get anything done. So
I swear, man, if the clients that we have, I would bet we could reduce, let's call it 10% company-wide for us of the phone calls that we receive on behalf of our clients, if our clients would actually return calls from messages that we send them. Because there's a lot of, we had one company, a cleaning company, they're getting a lot of calls. And it was bigger volume than they anticipated. And they said, what's the deal, right? And so I go to my crew. I'm like, what's the deal? What kind of calls are they getting? And they're like, 2 things. If you get their employees to actually show up on the job to do the cleaning, and if this company would actually reach back out to their employees when their employees have a question about their paycheck, you could cut their call volume 60 to 70%.
You're kidding me.
Yeah. Yeah, because they were having such a hard time with employees actually showing up to work. Like showing up on the job site to clean.
Yeah. So why wouldn't you start there? Like, right? Like just...
so I had to do some tap dancing, right? Because you don't want to come out and say, hey, client, you're messing up, right? You got to say, well, this is the data that we have, and kind of help them infer the same information that we already have without me saying it cruelly, right? Be like, hey, you're being an idiot. Just call these people back. Call your employees back, because that's a big deal.
Right.
And have your employees show up, which is to a point that's outside of their control, but it's still.
But if you're communicating with them, you'd think you'd have that open. I mean, if they have questions about their paycheck,
right?
I don't think they're going to show up on time if you're not telling them why.
Very safe to say.
I mean, it's kind of
extremely safe
to say. Right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, the employee feels respected.
Right.
Presumably, they'll show up to work.
Right.
I believe that was more so back then than it is now. Yes. I've had people not show up to work when they have yet to even get a paycheck. You have to show up on your first day. That's a big rule. So, yeah. So what have been some of the things that you've learned working for Findorff for so long?
Oh, my gosh.
Or just in the construction industry, let's say.
Yeah. Well, where do I start? I think the most fun for me is that, construction's changing.
Sure. Yeah.
I do think like right now we need to get the word out more that it's a good career.
Huge.
Like we were talking about earlier.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a great career for someone to look into.
From a financial point of view and lack of college debt. And
right, yeah. And,
growing.
And I don't know if, we both have young kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it's educating the parents that
maybe
it's a career.
Sure.
I don't know where the answer in that is, but I mean, you can have, I'm a third generation construction employee.
Sure.
My grandpa had his own business. My dad worked in construction. Now I'm in construction.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have a great career in that. And I think, I have fun telling kids about it,
right.
And educating parents about it.
Yeah.
I mean, and when I tell people, hey, you could be working in virtual reality, or
right.
you could be a drone pilot,
mm-hmm.
or, that gets people excited about
That's
it.
True. That's very true.
They don't look at construction that way. The other thing is just the behind the scenes ecosystem of
mm-hmm.
Madison and Dane County and just everything that's going on. I mean,
mm-hmm.
it's amazing how many smart people there are starting companies. I
right.
mean, doing just amazing research
mm-hmm.
that's, it's right down the street from our office.
Yeah.
And to me, that just blows my mind. I'm glad there's those people out there that can
absolutely.
do that. And,
absolutely.
We're in a very unique place where, you have the university, you have, the University of Wisconsin, but then you have the University Hospital
mm-hmm.
where, they can, put into place some of the research that was done.
Sure.
And, there's just a really, really good vibe with that research and
right.
biotech industry right
That's
now.
fair. That's fair. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
It's interesting. You mentioned the first thing you were talking about. I feel like there's still kind of a negative stigma about working in construction versus like saying, hey, I'm a lawyer. I don't know. There's even negative stigma about being a teacher. And probably a negative stigma about being a cop. We have a lot of negative stigma about people, right?
Right.
Unless you're, I don't even know what a positive stigma would be. The beer man.
Yeah, because, if you're
when I delivered beer, people loved me. So we'll just say the beer guy, right? So outside of that, there's just this negative, like, oh, you're working with your hands. You must not be very smart.
Right.
But I'm like, there's a lot of stuff going on there.
That's not the case at all.
No.
I mean, especially now, like we were talking, you build the building before you build it, but you have to understand how to work in that program and how to use it. And it's not just the hammer and nails anymore.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot more to it. And that, again, I don't know how you get rid of that. Like you said, it's in every industry.
I don't have a good answer there. Yeah.
But no, it's I personally think it's an honorable job.
Totally agree. Yeah, because without it, what would happen?
Right.
Where if you take away all the lawyers, maybe the world would be a little better. It's tough to say. I won't be the judge of that. We'll just let somebody else take care of that.
Yeah, no, we're just we're all very lucky to be where we're at. And,
cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you being on the show.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me. Yep.
This has been Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggles, stories, and triumphant successes of business owners across the land, coming to you from the Sun Prairie Community Studios, underwritten by Bank of Sun Prairie. If you are listening to this on the web, please like, share, subscribe, and share. My name is James Kateman, and Authentic Business Adventures is brought to you by Calls on Call, offering call answering and receptionist services for small businesses across the country on the web at callsoncall.com, as well as Draw In Customers Business Coaching, offering business coaching services for entrepreneurs in all stages of their business on the web at drawincustomers.com. And of course, The Bold Business Book, a book for the entrepreneur in all of us, available on Amazon and wherever fine books are sold. We'd like to thank you, our wonderful listeners, as well as our guest, Chad Eschler, Business Development at Findorff Construction. Chad, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks again.
This has been awesome, insightful. I love it. Find us airing on 103.5 Wednesdays at 1 p.m., Sundays at 2 p.m., as well as at sunprairiemediacenter.com. Past episodes can be found morning, noon, and night at the podcast link, found at drawincustomers.com. Thank you for listening. We will see you next week. I want you to stay awesome. And if you do nothing else, enjoy your business.